Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. So you want to do a little bit of watch maintenance on your own. Perhaps you want to save some money and change your own batteries in your quartz pieces. You're going to need some tools to do this. And tonight we're going to be going over some of the tools that you'll need for basic watch maintenance, like battery replacing or dealing with bracelets or straps. I'm going to give you some advice on how to use these tools better, because I had to learn that. I'll explain what I mean as we dig into each tool, but let's take a look at some of the watch maintenance tools that you're going to need. Let us begin. Okay, so even though this video is primarily focused around changing batteries by yourself, we're going to begin with a couple tools that you'll need to deal with bracelets. So there are some bracelets that have friction fit pins in them. To deal with those, you're going to want one of these. And most of my tools are just cheap Amazon purchases. And if I can find similar tools and kits, I'll have them linked in the show notes below. Those will be affiliate links, so if you're after those tools, it'll help out the channel. So with this one, you can place the bracelet vertically in here, and it'll hold it in place for you. And then for friction fit pins, you have a tool like this and a small hammer. Using a loop so that you can see what you're doing, and I'll go over those in just a moment. You want to place this in where the pin is. There's usually an arrow on the inside of the bracelet indicating which direction the pin comes out. You'll place this in that hole and tap it until the pin comes free. There are also some variants of these tools where you just screw this piece in and it presses the pin out. I had one of those, but it was cheap. At some point I'll have to get a better one. And the tips for that just kind of bent when I was working on a particular bracelet. I don't recall which one. There are other bracelets that have screw-in pins, so you will need a set of screwdrivers. I have a set of Bergeon screwdrivers. I have some cheap random ones laying around, but I wanted to get a nice set of screwdrivers. And one thing to note, even with decent screwdrivers, you need to hone the tip of the screwdriver. So this one right now isn't too terrible. You can see that it's a little bit crooked on the end there. And that's how all the tips of all of these screwdrivers were even before I used them. So when I was trying to unscrew screws, these kept slipping off the screw heads, and I thought it was just that I was terrible at it. But that will happen if you don't have a good flat edge on your screwdriver. There are tools to deal with that, but what I do, since I have a bunch of sandpaper out in the workshop, that's what I use. And I just set the angle manually. I don't use a tool to hold this at any particular angle. I will either file it this way or crosswise, or a combination of the two, trying to keep a steady angle on there. And I'll do one side, flip it over, do the other, and then I'll do it perpendicular and work it this way to get a flat edge on there. And once you have that, it stays on the screw head much better. Another trick is when you're unscrewing screws, hold the screwdriver like this. I got this tip from a watchmaker on YouTube, and it's brilliant because Here you're holding this end much more stable than if you have a bent finger like this, and it can kind of move around. You just place it like that, and you have a pretty steady anchor that way. For changing batteries, you're going to want to have some finger cots. And for a while I was pretty bad about that. I just tried not to touch the movement at all, but the oils on your skin isn't good for movements. And you don't want to be touching the battery and stuff or the contact points. So you'll definitely want some of these. I also use a sandwich bag for screw down casebacks, so that if my caseback wrench slips at all, this provides some protection against tool marks. It's not perfect, but if you're careful, this will save you a bit. And this is the caseback wrench that I own. Again, this is just an inexpensive Amazon purchase, but it works well. There are different tips, and you just place those within the notches of the caseback, and you can unscrew it. You can adjust the distance between them with this wheel here. So far I haven't had any problems with this, but it is good to have that sandwich bag on there in case these slip out. And you'll definitely want a loupe so that you can really see what you're doing. That alone will save you from tool marks and whatnot, because you can get in really close when you're putting even a caseback wrench into those notches on the caseback. Being able to see that up close is good. I also use these for removing pins, so on bracelets, I can see that my tool is exactly inside that opening where it needs to be. These are just useful for many, many things. You want to be aware of what different strengths to buy. So I have this Bergeon one, and when I purchased this, I was completely ignorant. I figured the stronger the loop, the better. So this is a 12X. But the thing is, the stronger the loop is, the closer you have to be to the subject matter you're working on. And something this strong, you have to be right above it. It's very difficult to get any screwdrivers or tweezers in there. So these are more for inspecting small parts. Like if you're actually doing some watch repair or similar tasks, and you don't have a microscope, something like this might be what you would inspect jewels with or other really small components. I've melted 2 holes into the loop. There's one, and then there's one on the other side, and that prevents it from fogging up when you're wearing it. But this one, I think this one's a 4X or a 6X. This is a good strength for working on things. There's still enough room to get your tools in there, but you're able to see up close and personal. For removing pressure fit casebacks, I've found that these cheap case knives actually work better than my fancy Bergeon one, which makes me really sad. I love this knife. I bought it because it was cool. But I have yet to successfully pop open a caseback with this knife. It just slips off. I've tried using different parts of the surface area here, thinking that might be the trick to it, but these just work better. It's crazy. And when I'm doing that, I also utilize a sandwich bag, just in case this slips. For while I'm in there, I have some brass tweezers. These are not super easy to come by, at least if you're looking for something inexpensive. I forget what these ran. They were kind of mid-level, I think $40 for these maybe. But a lot of the brass ones I was seeing were closer to $100. I have some plastic tweezers as well. And I also have some really sharp, just inexpensive metal ones. And sometimes I'll use those to carefully pop the battery out. They aren't really tweezers that I care a whole lot about, just inexpensive ones. But these and the brass ones, I go easy on. Once you're done changing the battery and you need to pop that friction fit Caseback back onto the watch, you'll need a Caseback press. And again, this is just a cheap tool here. It came with a bunch of these dies in different sizes. So when I use this, I do dial side down, and I find a die that sits just outside the crystal so that this is on the case itself and not the crystal. And then for the top die, I find something that's just a few millimeters inside the edge of the Caseback plate itself. And then once the watch is carefully positioned on there with the Caseback oriented correctly, you just pop it on. There are some of these where you can turn a wheel and it screws it down until it pops. But yeah, I just went with an inexpensive one. Now, some things to remember when you've decided to change your own watch batteries. Even something as simple and mundane as that can be dangerous for your watches. So this particular piece, the dial is fixed in the case. So if the movement lifts up, the dial does not go with it. And that's exactly what happened when I was changing its battery. So even though I was holding the movement down as I was trying to pry the battery out, it did lift up. And the hands popped off because the movement came up, but not the dial. So now I'm going to have to pay somebody to put those back on, because this watch is not easy to get access to that dial. You really need a bezel removal tool. You can see that I made tool marks here trying to pry this open as though it were a Caseback. Not the right tool. I also will not be changing my own batteries on pieces like the CWC. This has 200 meters of water resistance. When this battery finally dies, I'm going to send it into CWC to change the battery so that they can test the water resistance when they're done. So yeah, hopefully it'll still be water resistant. I can still take it swimming, and yeah. I also do not change my own batteries on expensive pieces. This watch is not cheap. It's as expensive as a mechanical watch, and I love it. So pieces like my Neo Vintage Movado Museum, I just love that watch and do not want to risk trying to change the battery myself. There are other pieces where, yeah, I love them, but I'm not terribly concerned. I'll probably not have any issues. But I would be really sad if I messed up my Movado, especially since I've swapped its crystal out for a sapphire one. But yeah, pieces like this, I will just pay someone else to change the battery on. So there you have it, some tools that are useful when you're doing your own maintenance of your watches. There are other tools that I have that I didn't discuss tonight. I'll probably go over those in a future video, but these are the tools that I use most frequently, and some of the tips and tricks that I've learned about using them. Thanks for watching.